Right, well thanks everybody for coming for the meeting today. I hope you've all had a chance to review Alice's notes, and we're here because Alice has actually refused her induction of labour at her 36-week birth talk with Laura. So Laura, could you give us a brief history, please?
Yeah, of course. Alice is a 41-year-old woman with a BMI of 23. She's a non-smoker with no known medical history or allergies. This is her first baby, and she's a very professional woman and very well educated and well supported at home as well. The baby at the minute is cephalic and there's no problems with growth and is plotted on the 50th centile. And Alice always reports good fetal movements.
Hi guys, sorry I'm late, I got held up in theatre. Where are we?
Hi Jane. Laura's just given us a brief history of Alice, the girl whose notes you reviewed yesterday.
Yeah, sure.
So during our birth chat the other week, we discussed the risks and benefits of her age and labour induction, and as a consequence she's actually refused induction.
Okay.
So we're here really to discuss her plan of care and the next steps that we're going to take.
Sure.
It's a little bit of concern. She's been agreeing to this induction and our policies throughout her whole pregnancy, so I'd just like to know what's changed.
Well, that's a question Alice can only answer really, and because she's not here, I don't really want to say.
Just plain devil's advocate here. When I reviewed the notes yesterday, there aren't actually any other contraindications to attempting a spontaneous delivery. Apart from her age, she's fit and well. And if she's adamant that she wants to try for that spontaneous delivery, then maybe we can let her go to 41 weeks perhaps, instead of attempting to get it all done and dusted by 40. I appreciate that it's the trust policy to recommend the induction of labour. However, NICE don't. But then again, the RCOG do, so I suppose it depends on who you're reading and who you favour, I suppose.
Can I just add that the new NMC code focuses a lot on individual choice. I feel as though as long as she's informed, we should respect that choice. Like Laura's already said, she's well educated, she's got no mental health problems, so I feel like we should refrain from forcing her into our mindset.
Yeah.
It's what they tell us at uni all the time, and we should advocate for her.
Yeah.
That's a really good point, maybe.
Okay ladies, we need to refocus now and we need to concentrate on why we're here today. Alice has declined her induction of labour, and that is indeed her individual choice. So now the next steps that we need to take are concentrate on how to support her with that choice and to put a care plan into place that we all agree with.
Well, I question her knowledge of the risks. Our trust guidelines are based on evidence, and at her age there's twice the risk of her experience in the stillbirth, and it's shown clearly in the RCOG scientific paper. Is she really willing to risk her baby dying?
I agree with what you're saying, but if you look at that risk that you're talking about, it only goes from 1 in 1,000 to 2 in 1,000. So from that perspective, we're still relatively low risk. There is a risk, I admit, but it's relatively low. You've got to remember that Alice is an active participant in all of this, and she's expressed, that she wants to labour spontaneously. I'm happy to have her on the consultant ed unit, and I'll support her in that as long as she's closely monitored and nothing changes with her condition between now and the onset of labour.
Well, I concur that she's going to need to be closely monitored, and therefore she's going to have to come back to my clinic. Our trust guidelines state that she needs to be reviewed by an experienced obstetrician if she refuses this induction, and I'm more than happy to discuss the risks of prolonging her labour with her.
Well, other than her age, she is an ideal candidate for home birth, and she was really interested the other day when I spoke to her. There's some research actually shows that a woman's myometrial function decreases in effective age. So surely if we induce her, it's just going to cause more irritation to the uterus, more intervention, and it's already a really high number, so I'm just not a fan.
What are they teaching you at university these days? As a trust, we induce 30% of women, and there's up to 60% or more in most cases that are having medical interventions. What Alice is being offered is today's normality.
Well, Mary does have a valid point, but that's not actually what we're here to talk about today. As I see it, Alice has been given all the information she needs to make an informed decision, and as a multidisciplinary team who's focused on the well-being of Alice and her baby, we need to work together to ensure that we are meeting her needs and expectations.
I agree with that.
That's us.
We'll be back, guys.
Okay, so just while Mrs Howson is just out of the room, I think it's a good idea for us to talk about this appointment next week in clinic. I just feel it'd be a really good idea if one of us was present to support Alice.
definitely. I think she'd really appreciate our support, and she needs to be an active participant in this decision, and I think Mrs. House would be a bit persuasive.
Yes, I agree, yeah.
Yeah, so this is an example of the midwife-mother relationship. So she needs to feel secure in order to make her decision, right?
Yeah, that's right, Mary. We're sort of being advocates for Alice and standing up for her beliefs and supporting her.
We must remember that Mrs. Housen is an excellent obstetrician, but can tend to have a one-size-fits-all kind of approach, and she is quite driven by trust guidelines and things like that. And as her primary carers, as midwives, we need to listen to her and act on Alice's needs and wishes to ensure she gets the birth she wants. We must value her individual opinions, supporting and advising her as best we can. But we'll talk about that later.
Hi guys, sorry about that, it was a false alarm.
Mrs. Housen, we've just had a quick chat, and we both feel that Alice would like one of us to be present at your meeting and clinic next week. So would you have any objections to that at all?
Not at all. Maybe you can learn something too.
And maybe we'll learn something from Alice. Yeah. You know, she must have some strong reasonings behind why she wants to take this route with her pregnancy. And if you're looking at the psychological value of that, then that must be weighted against the potential risks of letting the pregnancy continue. So we need to get a balance here between what she wants and I suppose what we want, really.
Yeah. Okay then, so we can't really move forward until we've had this next clinic consultation with Alice, and in my opinion it will then become not really an issue of informed consent but of her informed refusal, because she does seem to be fully aware of the risks and benefits regarding her care. So we need to value Alice's individual choice and use our courage and compassion, as in the 6 C's, to help to support her with that decision.
Yeah, I think we sometimes rush in quite prematurely with all our guidelines and interventions. Because the first rule of medicine is to do no harm, and sometimes our interventions can bring about harm inadvertently. So
We're trying to prevent harm by doing this induction. It's the safest option for her. Who here is willing to accept an intrauterine death or a stillbirth? Surely we should be trying to prevent the risk, not making it a reality.
But doesn't induction itself carry a risk of stillbirth and intrauterine death from hypoxia, etc.?
Well, as well, Mrs. Housen, I've actually had that chat with her, and we have discussed all the risks and benefits, and I've also discussed the possible outcomes from induction. I've then actually given her the opportunity to go away and think of some questions and write them down, and then in our next appointment we're going to go through those questions just to cement that this is what she wants to do. And I think our next appointment is next Tuesday, so after that, any time after that we can have that appointment.
So I found a little bit of research on low-risk primate women. It's based in Norway, so we've got to take that into account. But 23.7% of them had an instrumental delivery and 22.4% went section. And when you compare that to like the mid-20s age group, like mid-20s, it's 13% for instrumental and 6% for section. And obviously induction is just going to raise these figures, and the UK has way higher intervention rates than Norway does anyway. So.
Okay, well, let's just sum up then. Alice is fully aware of the research and evidence behind her decision, and she's fully accepting. I feel like we're not really progressing this situation, so I just suggest now that we wait until after the multidisciplinary consultation. Is everybody in agreement?
Yeah.
Great.
Jen?
It's been lovely to see you again.
Okay, yes, thank you.
See you, Jen.
Bye.
Bye.